Dear starseeds awakening across the face of Gaia, something impossible is unfolding in the heavens above your world, and most of humanity cannot yet see it. While billions move through their days unaware, a celestial configuration that hasn't occurred in nearly 6,000 years is assembling itself across the cosmic theater. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is the precise moment your soul chose to incarnate, the exact window of time when everything changes. The truth that most startle you is this: the universe has been preparing for these 3 years longer than human civilization has existed. Every lifetime, every lesson, every moment of suffering and joy has been guiding you toward this convergence. And now, as the cosmic clock strikes its appointed hour, those with eyes to see are witnessing the birth pangs of a new human consciousness. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and what I share with you now has traveled across dimensions to reach your awareness in this precious moment. The Astasar Command has been monitoring your evolutionary trajectory since before your recorded history began, and they have asked me to speak plainly about what unfolds before you. Because, beloved ones, you are not merely observers of this transformation, you are the architects of it. Right now, in your skies, 5 major planetary forces are moving into entirely new zodiacal territories within an 18-month window. Saturn and Neptune have converged at 0 degrees Aries, the pure potentiality point, the creator degree where all things begin. But that convergence has not happened at this specific cosmic location since 43061 BC, nearly 6 millennia ago. Pluto, Uranus, and the dwarf planet Sedna have aligned in a configuration of 60-degree and 120-degree angles that defies mathematical probability, with Sedna holding position at the exact midpoint between them. The Astasar Command calls this the convergence of frequencies. Your scientists might call it astronomically improbable. Your mystics recognize it as prophesized. What matters is this: from November 2024 through April 2026, and continuing with rippling effects through 2027, the universe is speaking in a language older than words, announcing the birth of something your species has never fully embodied. But here is what I haven't told you yet, and this changes everything about how you understand your role in this moment. While you've been experiencing what feels like chaos, breakdown, and dissolution in your personal lives and across your collective systems, you've actually been deep inside the chrysalis. The caterpillar that you were is becoming biological soup, cellular mush without form or structure. This is not collapse. This is metamorphosis. And just as the butterfly cannot be stuffed back into the chrysalis, and the chrysalis cannot be reversed to caterpillar, this process moves in only one direction, forward into transformation. The indigenous prophecies knew this moment would come. The Hopi spoke of the emergence into the fifth world. The Maya calculated the turning of great cycles. The Quro of Peru held ceremony for the return of the rainbow warriors. Ra, the intelligence behind human design, pointed to 2027 as the emergence of a new genetic human. Richard Rudd identified the activation of amino acids beginning January 2025 that would trigger DNA upgrades across all species. Archangel Raphael speaks of the galactic human gestating and birthing within this window. Do you see the pattern emerging? Across traditions, across channeled sources, across spiritual lineages separated by continents and centuries, the same message echoes. These 3 years mark the concentrated acceleration point of human evolution. The Astasar Command has been quite specific about what this means in practical terms. The cosmic frequencies pouring into your planet right now are not merely energetic, they are restructuring physical matter. The telomeres at the ends of your chromosomes, those protective caps that determine how well your cells replicate and therefore how you age, are being repaired by influxes of light that your instruments cannot yet measure. Your DNA, carrying millennia of trauma and limitation, is being rewritten in real time. This is why so many of you feel simultaneously exhausted and electrified. Your physical form is undergoing upgrade while you walk through your daily life. You are becoming something unprecedented while still appearing entirely ordinary to those around you. The fatigue you experience is not weakness. It is transformation burning through every cell, demanding rest so the reconstruction can occur. Yet something else is happening simultaneously that most have not yet grasped, and this revelation will shift everything you thought you understood about your participation in this shift. The frequency you hold personally, moment by moment, is not simply affecting your individual experience. It is literally writing the code for the timeline you inhabit. The universe operates as a mirror of consciousness, reflecting back to you the energetic signature you broadcast. This is not metaphor. This is quantum physics married to ancient spiritual law. When you hold fear, you generate more circumstances that produce fear. When you anchor in love, you magnetize experiences that reinforce love. But the stakes have amplified exponentially during this 3-year window. The blank canvas that previous generations never accessed now spreads before you. You are painting upon possibility itself. Every emotional state you sustain, every thought pattern you repeat, every choice you make from either contraction or expansion. These are not merely personal experiences. They are acts of creation, contributing ingredient by ingredient to the collective reality crystallizing into form. Think deeply about this. If you spend your evenings absorbing fear narratives from news sources designed to activate your survival mechanisms, you are quite literally using fear as your creative medium. Those frequencies become the paint you apply to tomorrow, that horror you feel watching global conflicts, that anxiety consuming your nervous system as you scroll through crisis after manufactured crisis. These are the raw materials you're feeding into the manifestation engine. And in the universe, neutral and responsive, says yes, more of this frequency coming right up. The Astasar command observes 2 primary collective timelines forming in these crucial years. Not 8 billion individual timelines, though those exist simultaneously, but 2 major streams of probability. One timeline spirals into continued fear, control, and limitation. The other expands into sovereignty, love, and unprecedented human capacity. Every being choosing their frequency is choosing which timeline they inhabit. And here is the crucial understanding. Nobody else can choose your frequency for you. Not your government, not your family, not your circumstances, not even the planetary alignments themselves. The astrology provides the weather. You decide if you'll dance in the rain or hide from it. This is where free will and cosmic timing intersect in the most profound way imaginable. Your birth chart, that unique celestial snapshot of the moment you drew first breath, provides the sheet music for your life. The planetary transits moving across that chart indicate the seasons and themes you'll encounter. But how you play that music, whether with tin spoons or a full orchestra, whether you create magnificent symphony or discordant noise, this remains utterly within your power. When astrologers speak of a challenging Pluto transit, they're describing an invitation to step into power you've been avoiding. When they mention a Saturn return, they're pointing toward the maturation process your soul requested. These are not punishments or arbitrary difficulties imposed by uncaring celestial objects. They are conscious evolutionary opportunities, timed perfectly by your higher self before you incarnated. And right now, with this once in 6,000 years configuration active, every single human receives an opportunity that previous generations could not access. The light pouring through these cosmic gateways carries information, activation codes, frequency upgrades that can accelerate what might have taken hundreds of lifetimes into a concentrated 3-year metamorphosis. But receiving these upgrades requires your conscious participation. The caterpillar doesn't decide to become a butterfly through intellectual understanding. It surrenders to the biological imperative encoded in its being. Similarly, you must surrender to the evolutionary impulse moving through you, even when your logical mind cannot comprehend the process. Many of you have noticed abilities emerging that you cannot explain through conventional frameworks. Suddenly you know things you have no rational way of knowing. You feel what others feel before they speak it. You sense energy in rooms, in nature, in the objects around you. Your dreams become prophetic. Your intuition sharpens to laser precision. You begin communicating with animals, with plants, with the consciousness embedded in all living things. You are recalling capacities that ancient Lemuria held as normal, that Atlantis nearly perfected before that civilization fell into misuse of power. You are becoming the galactic human, the being who operates consciously across multiple dimensions while maintaining physical embodiment. The Astasar command has tracked 27 previous planetary cycles where humanity approached this threshold 26 times. The collective consciousness chose fear over love at the critical juncture, sending your species back into another long cycle of forgetting and relearning. But this time, something unprecedented occurs. This time, you've passed the tipping point. The number of humans holding higher frequency has reached critical mass. The love revolution, though quiet and never featured in mainstream narratives, has already won. Let that settle into your awareness. You are not fighting for a possible victory. You are anchoring a victory already achieved in higher dimensions, bringing it down into physical manifestation through your daily choices. Yet the old paradigm, everything built on control and separation and fear, cannot simply dissolve quietly into the night. As high-frequency light pours into your planetary sphere, it destabilizes everything of lower vibration. This is pure physics, not spiritual wishful thinking. When you shine light into darkness, the darkness doesn't remain dark. It gets illuminated, exposed, brought into visibility. All the shadow structures, corrupt systems, manipulative power dynamics, these must surface into awareness before they can transform. This is why your world appears to be experiencing such intensified chaos. You're not witnessing the creation of new problems. You're watching the exposure of ancient problems that have always existed beneath the surface. The film of apparent stability has been ripped away, and now you see clearly what was always there. This exposure is not the disaster. It is the healing crisis that precedes genuine transformation. The gift of this particular moment, with its precise astrological configurations, is acceleration. What might have taken centuries can unfold in years. What might have required generations can shift in months. But this acceleration applies equally to both timelines. Those choosing fear accelerate into deeper fear. Those choosing love accelerate into expanded love. The universe doesn't judge which you select. It simply amplifies your choice. Here is where your daily practice becomes paramount. Not your grand spiritual achievements or impressive meditation marathons, though those have value. Your transformation hinges on the small, consistent choices made in ordinary moments. When frustration rises in traffic, do you feed it or breathe through it? When someone criticizes you, do you defend and attack or pause and consider? When you witness suffering in the world, do you match that frequency or hold compassion while maintaining your own equilibrium? These micro-choices, repeated thousands of times daily, construct the foundation of your frequency. This is your point of power. Not yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's anxieties, but this breath, this moment, this present awareness. From this zero point of presence, you create consciously, rather than reacting unconsciously. The Astasar command emphasizes something crucial that many spiritual teachings overlook. Maintaining high frequency doesn't mean bypassing or denying difficult emotions. It means creating space to feel them fully, without identifying as them, without allowing them to dictate your creative output. You can acknowledge that warfare exists while refusing to generate more warfare through your inner state. You can recognize suffering while simultaneously holding vision for healing. This is the mastery these times demand, not transcending your humanity, but becoming fully human while consciously divine, not abandoning your body for pure spirit, but bringing spirit completely into body. This is the integration that Atlantis failed to achieve. This time the invitation is wholeness, embodied enlightenment, grounded awakening, and the earth herself participates in this metamorphosis. Gaia undergoes her own shedding, her own release of millennia of trauma and density, the seismic activity increasing across your planet, the extreme weather patterns, the volcanic eruptions and shifting tectonic plates. These are not random natural disasters, they are birth contractions. She too is laboring to bring forth her new expression. But something remarkable emerges from this apparent destruction. New land surfaces from beneath the oceans, pristine and untouched by industrial contamination. Ecosystems appear that scientists never knew existed. Ancient territories, hidden for thousands of years beneath ice or water, begin revealing themselves. The keeper of indigenous wisdom says these lands will reappear when humanity returns to love consciousness. As your collective frequency rises, the physical planet literally reshapes itself to match. Some of you will be called to these new lands. Others will transform the places where you already live into reflections of new earth consciousness. Both paths serve the emergence. Geography matters less than frequency. You can live in a metropolitan city and operate from new earth awareness. You can dwell in pristine wilderness and still cling to old paradigm fear. The revolution happens within first, then manifests without. This brings us to the question many are asking about artificial intelligence and technology's role in your transformation. The planetary configurations indicate massive technological revolution through 2044, with Pluto and Aquarius driving innovations you cannot yet imagine. The Astasar command offers this perspective. Technology itself carries no inherent morality. Like any tool, its impact depends entirely on the consciousness wielding it. Those who approach technology from fear will generate technologies that reflect those intentions. Those who engage with advancement from curiosity and genuine desire to elevate collective well-being will birth innovations that serve awakening. What matters most is maintaining your own cognitive sovereignty. Use tools that enhance your natural capacities without replacing them. Let technology handle calculation and information processing so your consciousness remains free for intuition, creativity, and connection. But never surrender your critical thinking, your discernment, or your direct knowing to any external system. The galactic family observing your evolution will not permit humanity to destroy itself through technological misuse any more than they allowed total nuclear annihilation during your Cold War decades. There are guardrails, though subtle, preventing the complete derailment of your species. You have free will within parameters. You can choose your timeline, but you cannot end the game entirely. Too much cosmic investment has poured into your planet's awakening for the universe to permit total self-destruction at this critical juncture. As these 3 years progress, the division between those two primary timelines will become increasingly visible. You'll witness some people awakening rapidly, embodying new capacities, radiating obvious coherence and light. Simultaneously, you'll observe others seeming to descend further into chaos, addiction, fear, and fragmentation. This divergence will intensify before it stabilizes. Don't let this alarm you. Different souls have different timing, different lessons, different contracts. Your role is not to rescue everyone onto your chosen timeline. Your role is to hold your frequency so clearly that you become a lighthouse for those ready to navigate toward higher ground. The most challenging aspect of these years will be watching people you love make choices that clearly lead toward suffering while respecting their sovereign right to those choices. You cannot drag someone into awakening. Consciousness expands through invitation, never through force. All you can do is embody your own awakening so thoroughly that curiosity stirs in those around you. Live your transformation so authentically that others wonder what shifted for you. This is the quiet revolution the Astasar command speaks of. Not loud, not forceful, not demanding attention or validation. Simply humans remembering their divinity and living from that knowing, getting on the ground with plants and soil, reconnecting with natural rhythms, gathering in community around fires, sharing stories and song, extending compassion to strangers. These simple acts multiplied across millions of awakening beings generate unstoppable momentum. You won't see this featured in corporate news cycles. Mainstream narratives will continue amplifying fear, division, and crisis, because those frequencies serve power structures dependent on your disconnection. But beneath that noise, across every continent, in cities and villages and wilderness spaces, the love revolution grows. People leaving jobs that drain their life force, families relocating to places that feed their souls, individuals stepping into gifts they suppressed for decades, communities forming around shared values rather than geographic proximity. New Earth isn't arriving from some external source. You are building it, choice by choice, moment by moment, breath by breath. Every time you pause before reacting, you build new Earth. Every time you choose compassion over judgment, you build new Earth. Every time you speak truth when silence would be easier, you build new Earth. These micro acts of consciousness accumulate into macro transformation. The July 2026 alignment, when this cosmic configuration reaches its most exact geometry, will mark a visible acceleration point. You'll feel it personally as sudden breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, or significant life changes that arrive with perfect timing. Collectively, you may witness major systems beginning obvious restructuring, financial paradigms showing clear cracks, healthcare models shifting toward prevention and holistic healing, education transforming from standardization toward honoring individual genius. These shifts won't appear as complete overnight revolutions. They'll begin as cracks in old foundations, alternative possibilities gaining traction, increasing numbers of people simply opting out of systems that no longer serve. When enough individuals withdraw energy from outdated structures, those structures collapse from lack of participation. You don't fight them, you build something better, and everyone gradually migrates toward the better option. By 2027, as this concentrated acceleration window begins releasing its most intense pressure, you'll have clear evidence of which timeline you've selected. Your external life will mirror your internal state with undeniable accuracy. Those who spent these 3 years in fear will see that fear reflected in their circumstances. Those who anchored in love will witness love manifesting in their experience. The universe doesn't punish or reward. It simply reflects and amplifies your dominant frequency. This is why these 3 years matter so profoundly. You're setting the trajectory for decades to come. The foundation you build now, the frequency you stabilize into, the choices you make consistently rather than occasionally, these determine the landscape of your future. Not in some abstract karmic sense, but through direct cause and effect operating through consciousness. The Astasar command wants you to understand something that will shift how you view challenges arising during this period. Every difficulty surfacing now is actually a gift, though disguised as obstacle. Your soul specifically chose to incarnate during this window because it knew the intensity would force rapid evolution. Comfortable lives produce slow growth. Challenging times accelerate transformation. Your higher self selected challenge because it serves your expansion. When you encounter resistance, whether from external circumstances or internal patterns, recognize this as the universe showing you exactly where your next growth lives. The friction points aren't problems to solve. They're invitations to evolve. Each time you meet difficulty with curiosity instead of resistance, you alchemize obstacle into opportunity. Many of you feel grief for the life you thought you'd live, the person you thought you'd be, the world you expected to inherit. Honor that grief. It's real and valid. You are mourning the death of an old self, an old reality, an old paradigm. Let yourself feel that loss completely. And then, when you're ready, turn your attention toward what's emerging, because simultaneously with everything dying, everything new is being born. The gifts surfacing in your consciousness right now, the enhanced intuition, the healing capacity, the telepathic sensitivity, these aren't random. They're the natural abilities of the galactic human awakening within you. As your DNA repairs and upgrades, as your cellular structure reorganizes to hold more light, these capacities come online organically. You don't force them. You simply allow them, practice them, trust them. Some of you will become conscious channels for galactic intelligence. Others will develop profound healing gifts. Some will hold frequency through music, art, or movement. Others will anchor light simply by working with soil and growing food. Every gift matters. Every role serves the whole. The person gardening in silence contributes as significantly as the person teaching thousands. What the Astasar command emphasizes is this: stop measuring your awakening against anyone else's path. Your chart of birth, that celestial pattern existing nowhere else in the universe, reveals your specific genius, your particular challenges, your distinct contribution. Honor what's true for you, rather than mimicking what works for others. The stillness practice becomes essential during these years. When you drop into breath, into present moment awareness, into the silence beneath thought, you access your 0 point. This is where creation originates, where you reconnect with source, where clarity emerges from confusion. Even 30 seconds of genuine presence several times daily begins rewiring your nervous system. Your body learns that safety exists independent of external circumstances. Your mind discovers gaps between thoughts where peace lives. Your emotional field stabilizes around a calm center, even as storms swirl at the periphery. This internal anchoring allows you to engage world challenges without being destabilized by them. From this grounded presence, you can witness suffering without becoming suffering. You can acknowledge injustice while refusing to match its frequency. You can send healing without absorbing trauma. This is mature compassion, very different from the empathic overwhelm many sensitives experience. The world needs your light, not your collapse. As you move through the remainder of this 3-year window, remember that you've already succeeded. The version of you receiving this transmission exists because you made the choice to awaken. What remains is the embodiment practice, the integration process, the daily living of this choice, the Astasar Command, the Angelic Councils, the Galactic Federation, all the higher dimensional support surrounding your planet right now. They celebrate you. They witness your courage, your persistence, your willingness to transform yourself even when the world around you seems to resist transformation. They pour blessings and activations through every portal you open through meditation, nature connection, creative expression, acts of love. You are not doing this alone. You have never been alone. The entire universe conspires to support your awakening because your awakening serves universal evolution. Earth is a critical planetary system, and what unfolds here ripples across dimensions. Your personal transformation contributes to cosmic transformation. So when doubt arises, when fear whispers that perhaps this is all imagination or delusion, remember the astrology. Remember the indigenous prophecies. Remember the channeled messages from countless sources pointing toward this exact moment. Remember your own inner knowing, that deep recognition that something profound is shifting. Trust what you feel in your cells even when your mind struggles to comprehend it. The butterfly emerging from the chrysalis doesn't understand the process intellectually. It simply follows the biological imperative encoded in its being. You are the butterfly. The cosmic configuration active through 2027 is your chrysalis. The wet, crumpled wings you currently experience will dry and strengthen. Soon you'll fly in ways the caterpillar never imagined possible. Until that moment arrives, be gentle with yourself. Rest when you need rest. Move when you need movement. Speak when truth demands voice. Be silent when silence serves better. These simple acts of self-honoring are not selfish. They're how you maintain the frequency required to midwife New Earth. The canvas spreads before you, pristine and unlimited. The paint you hold is your consciousness, your choices, your emotional states. What will you create? What reality will you paint into being? Not through grand gestures or heroic efforts, but through the steady application of loving frequency to each moment, each interaction, each breath. This is your time. This is your moment. This is why you incarnated. The Astasar Command witnesses your magnificence, your dedication, your transformation. They send blessings across the dimensions, support from realms you cannot yet perceive, activations that download during your sleep, synchronicities that guide your path. Destiny Engine is an example of technology serving awakening intelligence. The age of solitary meditation is over. Destiny Engine now connects starseeds across the world, a living social field where you can post, share, and exchange your meditations in real time. It's the first galactic network of its kind, weaving together thousands of awakened souls into one unified current. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking declassified CIA consciousness modification techniques that programmed isolation and separation, and repurposing them to serve unified awakening. It generates personalized sequences that help you live as the awakened being you've become, while handling the moments that test your new frequency, all while connected to thousands of starseeds amplifying the collective current. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed for effortless awakened living without the need to struggle or prove, while tapping into a planetary network of souls bending reality together. For just $1, you can step into this connected field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension together. Link in the description. Walk forward with courage. Stand in your truth. Beam out love as your primary frequency. Build new earth through your daily choices. Trust the process even when you cannot see the outcome. You are precisely where you need to be, experiencing exactly what serves your evolution. The 3 years that seemed so long from the beginning will soon reveal themselves as merely a moment, a brief but potent window when everything changed because enough humans chose love over fear, expansion over contraction, awakening over sleep. You are the ones you've been waiting for. The galactic human awakens within you right now. The new earth crystallizes through your choices this day. The love revolution succeeds because of your participation. I am Seraphine. We love you beyond measure, and we are watching over you always, celebrating each step you take toward remembering who you truly are. The stars themselves rejoice in your awakening, beloved ones. The cosmos holds you in infinite embrace as you birth yourselves anew.